According to Mythos, 100% of you are subscribed. Good job! 3-star unweighted curios are some of the most enigmatic items that can be found within the universe of Star Rail. Not only are they hard to find because of how rare it is to get them within a run, but also they seem to have a lot of interesting lore, in my personal opinion, to the point that I like to overanalyze them at times. Which is why, in today's video, we're going to be going over these particular set of curios that were added during the Protean Hero chapter. We've got 16 curios to cover, with mentions from the IPC, the Abundance, the world of amphoreus as a whole, and most importantly my favorite, the Enigmata. So it's going to be absolutely wonderful. As always, and as some of you guys may know, at the very beginning of every curio, I will display the entire lore, so if you wish to pause and read it yourself, you're more than welcome to do so. Afterwards, I'll begin reading it myself, so you don't have to. So with that being covered, let us begin. Alright, Carnival's Tale. Blessed by Fagusa, the Carnival's Tale allows humans to temporarily conquer the ocean's waves. These insatiable machines continuously demand tribute, consuming honey brew and propelling ships across the seas. Legend has it that Corinthus once toasted with a machine abroad, claiming to drink with Fagusa. The fine offering left the Carnival's Tale too intoxicated to control itself, crashing deep into the ocean. Days later, the hero and the ship's wreckage were disdainfully thrown ashore by Fagusa's kin. Okay, I think this is just one of the silliest curios of them all, just because of the fact that this machine can literally get intoxicated. And I love the fact that the person's just like, oh yeah, we're drinking with the gods today. So he drank so much, a literal non-sentient thing got too drunk. Also, I do feel like the demigod must have enjoyed that, purely because of the fact that the guy was able to be thrown back ashore alive. At least that's what I'm assuming. Because, you know, yes, it was disdainfully, but you're dealing with the drunk demigod. There's not going to be any graceful entrances after drinking with them. Moment of Tranquility. Since the end of Era Chrysia, Amphoreus has never lacked fools hoping to evade death. Some lug themselves among madmen, attempting to confuse the eyes of the Titan. Others hide in coffins, using boulders to isolate themselves from the turbulent river of souls, seeking to preserve eternal beauty. And fate naturally bestows upon them their deserved end. Thus, the Mad King can never die, while the slumbering maiden greets immortality in her eternal sleep. On the hand of Shadow's long ship, blessing and curses are indistinguishable. Okay, I really like the concept of this curio, just because of how they sort of interpret the justice within death in the world of Amphoreus, because the Mad King will forever be insane and afraid of death, even though it's never gonna go claim him. He's just so afraid of it that living in fear is worse than him dying. While, you know, the slumbering maiden, they already did all their things, so now they can rest in peace and just forever be calm. I don't know, that's how at least this sounds to me, and if that's the concept, that's really cool. Sealing Wax of Trailblaze. There's a saying among the dejected self-annihilators that the universe has no purpose, and humans are nothing in the eyes of the Aeons. If the Aeons truly stand above all life forms and rule supreme, then why would they care about the everyday concerns of mortals? The existence of the sleeping and shapeless IX is proof of that. To show the self-annihilators that the Aeons do care, the Doctors of Chaos combine the demon god crafts of the occult monks to create the Sealing Wax of Aeons. It is said that stamping with this sealing wax will attract a glimpse of the corresponding Aeon from across space and time. There are no successful examples yet, but some self-annihilators did regain their faith in the universe, Aeons, and everything else after stamping with the sealing wax. I know I have spoken about the sealing wax curios before, but I did want to at least showcase this one because it's really cool that there is one for the Trailblaze. So it makes me wonder if there is one for the Finality as well, and if they ever add it, that would be really cool. I do wish this had something different than every other Sealing Wax Curio, but it's still cool that this exists. Window of Fortune. Travelers who have visited Dolos are always struck by its architecture, especially the half-crying, half-smiling window. In this gambling-obsessed city-state, fortune can change overnight. A billionaire today might lose every last balance coin by tomorrow. As a result, the people of Dolos are almost fanatical about luck, and these windows are believed to shift one's fortune. When the people swing open the shutters and let the morning sunlight wash over them, yesterday's bad luck fades away, and they are ready to try their luck at the tables once again. You know, the more I read about Dolos and all these little thieves and gamblers, the more I really want to actually go to this location. It upsets me that we've not been able to go there, but it would be really cool. Also, it just Cypher's one of my favorite characters. So, you know, more Cypher lore would be pretty awesome. I do love that every single gambler and thief is so obsessed with luck within amphoreus, and it is seen through all these curios, as well as like the good luck cookie. Like, I don't know, it is just very on brand, and I appreciate that. Absolute sound quality. The Venetians are renowned for their extraordinary music talent, having ranked among the top 5 most musically gifted species in the universe. They communicate through beautiful chords and rejected the invitation from the Harmony family, solely to pursue the pure beauty of rhythm. However, after receiving the Abundance's blessing, this pursuit began to turn pathological. For instance, in their pursuit of flawless vocal reproduction, the Venetians use biotechnology to create these biological headsets with living mouths integrated into the earpads, which perform the audio directly, eliminating any timbral distortion. I really hate this Curio. One, because it has the abundance, and every single time I see their name, everything is so messed up. And also, I did not like the design with the mouths in it, and now knowing that those mouths are alive makes it that much worse. Like, genuinely, this is like such a cursed image, and I despise it. Cool concept. People are insane, but I hate that so much. Antimatter controller. During the early attempts to replicate the Astral Express, the technology department struggled to solve the engine's power issue. The Intelligentsia Guild proposed using antimatter to replace the power of Trailblaze, with this controller serving as a matching component. The original design concept was simple. Just like adjusting the hot and cold water ratio in a showerhead, one could control the Express's speed by cleverly adjusting the injection rate of matter and antimatter with a wrench. However, prototype testing always ended in annihilating explosions. After all, getting the water temperature right was never an easy task. You know, it's really funny seeing the older design of the antimatter engine controller because it does not vibe with the current design of the antimatter engine itself. And if you're wondering why I'm saying that, it's because we've actually seen the antimatter engine already. It is one of the weird little things that appear next to the Doom Beast. Those are antimatter engines. So it also has me wondering, you know, if the Intelligentsia Guild developed these things, why does the Antimatter Legion have it? I mean, I know that the IPC loves money, so I feel like it wouldn't be so far-fetched to say that they might have just sold it to them. Or, you know, they could have stolen it from somebody that, you know, they got sold to. But still, I'm just like, Encouragement for you. As a history fictionologist, Time places great emphasis on encouraging education, which might be related to his not so pleasant childhood. To comfort disheartened children, he designed a unique encouragement vessel. Whenever a child receives praise, the power of encouragement materializes in front of them as flame shaped as a thumbs up. The more encouragement received, the brighter the flame burns. However, when he tried to promote this idea across the universe, he faced opposition from many parents because children shouldn't play with fire. I'm not sure if the Hoyo devs did this on purpose, but I just love the fact that there is a Enigmata related curio that is just a big thumbs up because I've seen so many people use the Mythos with the high praise encouragement thumbs up as a meme. Heck, I even use it in the starter of every single one of my videos. So just seeing this is absolutely funny. And I feel like moving forward, I'm gonna edit out that thumbs up for this one because it's just, I don't know, it's just so funny. But speaking about this curio, I do love the fact that this person decided to do something good for the people because he had a rough time growing up. So he's like, I'm gonna help others so they don't have to face this. So that's cool. I love the history fictionologists. Footstep of the Gods. A group of Kefali followers were obsessed with finding giant footprints. They claimed those are proof of Kefali once walking on Earth, and people would receive the Titan's blessing if they stood in the footprints. Another group smelled the business opportunity from this rumor. They were dedicated to finding new footprints, then building exhibition halls around the prints and charging a fee for pilgrims coming to worship. These activities drew a third kind of people, the craftsmen and businesses that sold miniature models of the footprint around the halls. Maybe boosting commerce is also a form of Kefali's blessing. I was gonna make the joke because of the way that the curio looks. Oh, that feels like it belongs in a museum. That's pretty much what happened. Literally, people are just like, what if we make it an exhibit, a funny little museum for people to enjoy quote unquote history and getting blessed? And then it literally just became a commerce. That is both so funny, but also, what? Frozen virtue. Hundreds of amber eras ago, the Colchis considered devouring others as a sign of great respect. When a baby was born, the entire Calcaisian community would mobilize to take care of it. And for their deceased member, the Lapis speakers would craft a special information flake as a burial offering. These beautiful virtues are gradually disappearing with the progression of time. The pessimists of the Garden of Recollection propose that universal morality should be preserved through emergency measures. However, which virtues are truly worth preserving still seems to be up for debate. Huh. Okay, this one's very ironic. I'm actually surprised learning now that the Colchis devoured others as a sign of great respect, because from previous equations and curios, we learned that the Colchis became the delicious Marimo candy, and then, because of that, they were getting eaten. So knowing now that they were people that ate other beings before is kind of insane. It is also really interesting that they mentioned Lappy speakers as well in this, because they sort of work as like a memory bank. They sort of create like little disks that preserve memories and data. So seeing these two with the context of their own equations, it's kind of cool, but also, what the hell? Interstellar Roaming Pager. As more planets joined the pan-cosmic market, the IPC urgently needed a miniaturized hyper-distant delivery device for employees stationed in frontier regions. Eventually, the School of Pure Creation's Interstellar Roaming Pager won the bid. This device inherited the virtues of the Amber Lord. sturdy enough to serve as a noodle cup weight, can opener, and emergency survival hammer all in one. Its signal was equally tenacious, maintaining a connection anywhere in the cosmos, even within a black hole. Once deployed, frontier planets promptly saw a significant drop in absenteeism rates. Okay, this one was a lot funnier than I expected. I did not think that they would just create a pager that, yes, serves the purpose of a pager and making sure that you can communicate with people, but also that one of the requirements to fit the virtues of the Amber Lord is to serve as a noodle cup weight. What? It's so absurd, but it's so funny, and I love it. I also do find it horrible that, like, people were just like, they wanted to be not working, and like, props to them, but they can't anymore, so that sucks. Love-seeking Golden Dart. If you were invited to the group date parties hosted by the most fanatic Menestia followers, then I recommend that you go not in elegant gowns, but in a suit of armor. Or at least go with a helmet. You'll thank me when you're facing the golden darts flying chaotically all over the space. Those followers are of the firm belief that the golden dart can find love for them, and the person it stabs is the true love destined for the one who threw the dart. This manner of courting actually has some sense. If someone can still talk to you peacefully after being stabbed in the head by a dart you threw, then they sure have the potential to become your partner. Oh my god, this was just insane. Like, what do you mean people are just yeeting darts at each other? It's not even like, I mean, in the image, it doesn't look pointy, but you're telling me that these things are actually like stabbing people? That is, yikes. Okay, to be fair, it doesn't look pointy because the heart thing at the bottom appears to be part of the dart. I don't know why I thought it was just like all conjoined into one. If you're just taking like the bottom tip of the heart as like the pointy part, if you get that thrown at like Mach speeds, yeah, that's gonna hurt a lot. That's gonna stab hard. People are insane. Memory of stars. The beaches to the west of Amphoreus are different to all other beaches. They are ashen black. The followers of Orynyx would go there to pick sea conches during low tide, claiming that everyone was a star in the sky before they were born, and that upon a person's death, their star would fall into the River of Souls, which then washes the star into the sea and forms conches. They, therefore, believe that sea conches contain the voice and memories of the dead, and the conches can answer when spoken to. This myth became more and more fantastical over the years, culminating in the belief that sea conches have the power of prophecy. People therefore asked the conches countless questions, and when no satisfactory answer was received, would cook the conches and serve them up as a dish. For how dark the story of Amphoreus, a lot of their curios are just so silly, and I love it. Like, where was this silliness when we were throughout the entire story? That being said, though, I love the fact that people, this is such a fantastical little story. People believe that, it's like a cycle of life, and you get to hear from the people that have passed on cool, fantastical concept. And then they completely went ahead and were like, yeah, no, I don't like what you're saying. You're getting cooked, literally. Sapient Pen. A Grove scholar once had so many ideas that the slow speed of writing with human hands made him lose out on so many inspired moments. He therefore made a pen from a small branch of Circe's and various valuable gemstones. That pen can write many times faster than an ordinary pen, but it took so long to develop that its maker died soon after its completion. Nonetheless, that invention still found glory in the annals of history. Since the sages loved to punish apprentices by making them copy an essay a few hundred times, All Grove apprentices ended up having one copy of this pen each. You know, halfway through reading it, I was like, the inventor is just gonna die and not gonna be able to use it. That's clearly what's gonna happen. And I hate that I was right. However, I love that the legacy does push on, not in the way that he envisioned, because yeah, sadly not everybody is like as ambitious as he was, I guess. But at least it serves in letting these students not have to suffer. So you know what? We take that win. Self-amusement. Drinking and listening to music are the only two hobbies a Mythemian will have in their lives. Therefore, brewers and musicians are the most respected professions in that entire city. There was once a person who simultaneously reached the zenith of both crafts. It was a machine created by the grand craftsman Dionysius while in a drunken stupor. The machine once played enchanting melodies while brewing charming wine in a feast held by the king and drowned all guests present in supreme bliss. However, the story had a tragic end. The king wished to claim the machine and therefore killed the craftsman while the machine was grown attached to the craftsman, and therefore poisoned the king. In the end, the royal family tore that intricate machine to pieces. I am so disappointed now, especially now knowing that it's more of a robot than just a basic machine, because it has some sort of sentience to it. Also, it just made me realize the little guy has arms and eyes, and just I can actually see a face to this Curio as opposed to before reading all this, which makes me super disappointed that they essentially killed off this little guy. But it's so cool that it avenged its creator, W. I am disappointed though that we will never get to meet this little guy, unless, you know, Hoyo decides to release another bartending event, but this time in Amphoreus. That would be pretty cool. Simple Judgement. Calanton's royal judges would only take out the judgment device when faced with the most enigmatic of cases. The lion heads on the two sides of the device would each tightly clamp down on a piece of evidence. These could be a blood-stained dagger or a bottle of poisoned honey brew, and the scale would always tilt favorably towards the item that's more indicative of the truth. While some culprits can indeed create perfect crimes, they tend to forget the most reliable evidence will always remain in their hearts. Put the suspect's finger into the lion's mouth, and Lantern will show them how their denials are nothing before the lion's teeth. You know, I really do like the fact that there is some sort of device within Amphoreus that actually works as a lie detector as opposed to the countless amount of things that we have seen that would work as torture devices. This is still horrifying because that thing will potentially just rip off a person's finger, but it's still really cool that it exists. Winterfish Summerherb. Poets rarely associate Circes with Fagusa, with the Winterfish Summerherb being one of the exceptions. In extremely rare cases, a fish that should dwell in the sea would leap onto the riverbank, swallow a seed from the Mori tree, and return alive to the water. This seed would then, by pure chance, sprout inside a fish's belly and be caught by fishermen, with odds even lower than rolling 4 sixes in a row. That's why sailors use the phrase catching a winterfish summerherb to describe nearly impossible events. Still, many insisted such a rarity must be a potent tonic. King Theseus, on his deathbed, had sent for it, only to die of food poisoning after taking it. Okay, I don't know what that king saw in this fish that I'm literally seeing the image of because it's one of the curios. That thing looks absolutely cursed, looks completely degenerated, and I would not trust my life with it. That looks like a toxic waiting to just shut down every organ in my body. Like, it's just absolute insanity. And with that, We have not only gone through all of the curios of 3-star rarity and weighted curios, but we have also gone through every single curio currently available in Honkai Star Rail. My god, this was an undertaking, but honestly, it was a lot of fun. As always, if you enjoy this sort of content and would like to see more, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free, it only takes a second, and if at any point you feel like the type of content that I'm creating doesn't really suit your preference, you're more than welcome to unsubscribe. It has been an absolute pleasure going through all of the lore and being able to interact with you guys down in the comments. I try to reply to every single comment when possible, and just hearing your guys' takes on the lore and everything is absolutely great. My god, I cannot wait for when the next patch drops another gigantic set of curios and equations. And because it's plain Arcadia and we had that trailer with Nihilux, a part of me fears that the equations are just gonna be fanfictions written by them. And I'm gonna be horrified, because I'm gonna be reading fanfics on main, essentially. Still though, it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be so chaotic and so wonderful, and we get to learn more about the universe, which is the main thing that I love about this. If you would like to see more of these type of videos, I've made a couple playlists that go through every single curio, as mentioned before, as well as every single equation that we've had so far. A lot of them have really cool concepts for world building towards Star Rail and amphoreus, so just being able to know more about these has been great. So I would heavily recommend them if you are a lore gamer. With all that being said though, thank you so much for your time and for watching all the way up to this point of the video. It really means a lot to me, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day, night, morning, or whatever time zone you're currently watching this video at, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.